occasional item that we do on the show called We Feel Your Pain, in which I reach out to a celebrity that's going through a tough time. Tonight, the nicest, kindest, most empathetic and politically correct man in the world, probably a man with more goodness in his heart than the Pope himself, Saint Gary Lineker. Gary, almost certainly the nicest man on the planet, potentially a better human being than the Dalai Lama. Well, the Dalai Lineker has got himself into a bit of hot water when celebrating the England women football team's victory in the Euros. He made a joke on Twitter. It read as follows: "The Lionesses have only gone and done it, and Kelly is England's heroine, bra none." Oh dear, he made a tit of himself there. What a boob. Well, he's had his knockers. All the woke people on Twitter with blue hearts, just like Gary, all the people who say be kind but are amazingly toxic, all the people with rainbows and the EU flag on their bio, turned on their own Prince of Woke. Devastatingly for Saint Gary, the nicest man in the world, probably more morally upstanding than Mother Teresa. Well, Gary was forced to defend this tweet and then ultimately delete it. As the brilliant comedian Abby Roberts always says, the woke crocodile will eventually devour its own. Now, I'm all for free speech and I defend Gary's right to do his little gag. It was absurd that he received any flack for it. But he's only brought this upon himself with his endless moral posturing. And this is a guy that's apparently so woke and so lovely. In just a couple of months' time, he'll be presenting World Cup shows in a country where homosexuality is illegal. And he'll be presenting those programs in stadia built by slaves, many of whom fell to their death in blazing 45-degree heat during their construction. He's apparently so woke and so lovely, he's at war with HMRC over his tax bill. What, do you mean he's so lovely he wants to pay more? No, he's trying to pay less. This is a guy apparently so woke and so lovely he sells potato-based junk food to kids, and a man who works for an organisation that will send old ladies to prison if they don't pay 160 quid a year to watch him. He's so woke and so lovely, apparently, that he doesn't get flags except when he's got shirts to sell. All of this is so unfair on Saint Gary, a man who spoke out about being a victim of racism. That's right, a victim of racism, even though he's described himself as English as they come. I hope you're not conflating being white with being English, Gary. Speaking on her unmissable GBNews show, our very own Nana Akua said, "I'm black, Gary, you're white, and your comments trivialise the experience of racism." Now, I rarely disagree with Nana. I wouldn't dare, but I think that may be unfair. Think about it. Alongside the incredible John Barnes, Ledley King and Marcus Rashford, I consider Gary Lineker to be one of the best footballers of colour this country has ever produced. Is he as good as Pelé? He may just be. In fact, I think he's one of the greatest men of colour the world has ever seen. Alongside, I would suggest, Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi. Tell me that Gary doesn't sit comfortably on that list. Luther King, Gandhi, Lineker. And Gary now gets in trouble for making an off-brand joke that some saw as a bit sexist. How dare they? They know nothing about this man, a man who, like Jesus himself, walks on water. The Beatles famously said that they're bigger than Jesus. Well, hand on heart, I was raised a Christian, and I think Gary is better than Jesus. Think about it. Luther King, Gandhi, Christ. And ultimately, Lineker. So let's just take a moment and a deep breath as we say, Gary Lineker, we feel your pain. #Pray for Gary.